Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
All right. Check one, check two. This is it. We are doing it. It is getting done. Today's the day. All day. I'm a little late, but welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Wow. With your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming to you live and direct from Brooklyn, New York, hiding out on a beautiful sunny day to record this podcast. But I love you and I love doing this podcast. And I think this podcast is important to you and me and the cannabis community and comedy and all the people that I love. I love this podcast. I love you. I love life. What you gonna do? Get out there, get your vaccination or not. I am not your God. I'm just a dude doing my thing. I got some crazy mints and they're really nice. Today's episode, everybody, welcome. I think this is 128. If I'm not off, let's check. Yeah, this is episode 128. I'm coming at you live from Brooklyn, New York. A day late, but not a dollar short. Well, we're all a little bit a dollar short, but I feel the world opening up a little bit, and I feel the cannabis world opening up a little bit, and I feel the coffee world opening up a little bit. Man, I got up to go get a cup of coffee, and I went to like 3 different shops until I found one that didn't have a line. I can't deal with, COVID lines, and it's a little bit longer. And there's enough coffee shops in Brooklyn that enough good coffee shops in Brooklyn that I can kick it at, I could check out. But today I went to one of my favorite spots, and it's a classic spot, and but I'm kind of jumping all over the place because I wanted to do this podcast yesterday, but I got caught up with life. So I jumped on today. But what I have here are these mints. I'm out of flour. I got some common. Don't be like, oh, Rob, you don't know nothing about weed. I know everything about I don't know everything about weed. Cannabis, it's like coffee. It goes on for centuries and centuries, and societies and lifestyles have been consuming cannabis for a long time. But we're at a focal point right now. I have from Kiva. I don't know if you guys know cannabis, but if you know, I'm sure you do. I'm not trying to act like, but Kiva Chocolate, if you're looking for like high-end, good tasting with a great high punch, probably in the world of cannabis chocolate edibles, Kiva is the Tesla. Kiva is the best. I mean, their chocolate is so good. They just know what the fuck's up. I don't know what's going on, but they came out with these bomb mints that are 1.5 milligrams. Now, they're not the hardest core. Like, let's say when I'm puffing hard, I could smoke 3 or 4, like, bomb ass joints a day, going into the evening. You could do, smoke more, or when sometimes it's just a half a joint. Sometimes it's just a couple hits, but sometimes it's just a mint, just something to get the cannabinoids to get to my brain to get the muscles and everything moving again. But that's the only problem with weed is it runs out. But with Petra, with these mints, this is perfect because I do have a lot of shit going on, and I am getting back out there. I got a show in Prospect Park. It's called Fool's Comedy. And I've done this cat's show a couple times, and it's dope, man. Fool's Comedy, the whole crew, the whole crowd, and they're doing it in Prospect Park. I know they're going to have a crowd, and their crowd is usually cool as fuck, man. They got a DJ. It's going to be music. It's going to be outside. The vibes are super high in Brooklyn. Literally, people are about to take the shirt off and swing it around like a helicopter, take their mask off and swing it like a helicopter. It's just when the weather's nice, man, the vibe just gets high. You know what I'm saying? Just everybody, but everybody's going through drama. Somebody's mom got cancer, or somebody ran over a dog, somebody died. Shit goes down, but shit comes back up. You could tell I love doing this podcast. And the solo episodes are especially special for me because, they're not the easiest thing to do. And the more I meditate, the more I realize that I shouldn't talk. As a dude, dudes shouldn't talk that much. But I do love talking, and I just don't want to talk nonsense. So I guess what I'm saying today is I got some great mints, Kiva mints. They're called Petra. So Kiva is the chocolate company, and they just got concentrated chocolate down to a absolute, like almost Belgian level of making chocolate level. But then they started coming out with these mints, and somebody hit me to these mints a while back from California. Shout out my buddy Dan. But he told me about these mints, and that's how he rolls. Like, he just has a 2.5 milligram a mint here and there, and doesn't really huff a ton of weed. And it just, takes that edge off, so you don't start, taking swings at people. The older I get, the more I know about myself and learn about myself. And I think I realize why I'm drawn to cannabis more than I am alcohol or cigarettes, because I've tried all of those. And this one just keeps on going. Even I went through it like an IPA stage, and I was like, I mean, I like them. They are, I don't know, that drunk buzz is kind of good, but it's, I don't know, it weighs on my soul. It beats me down. Whereas cannabis almost uplifts me, and people are like, oh, you can't remember shit. You're kind of foggy. Cause I don't want my world to be so fucking rigid, man. And so I like a little loosey goosey style, and let the universe play a little bit, in the moment. And but at this moment, I'm enjoying some bomb ass coffee. This shop is called Konditori. It's a Swedish coffee shop. But they got like 3 or 4 of them, and they got great food. But I got a bag of beans from them, and I read about them that, it's just a small coffee shop, man. This is all small businesses. And I don't think there's a big money in coffee, but if any business that you run right, you can make some money at. And I'm learning about this podcast. Like and subscribe, everybody. If you're listening to it, you gotta like and you gotta subscribe. That's completely free. Like, I know you're down. I see the numbers. I love you. I love doing this. And it's only going to get funkier and fresher as we go. But the Konditori Swedish blend of coffee, man, Swedes don't fuck around. Shout out to Will Ferrell. I think he has a connection. I think he's part Swede, or he married a Swede or something. He's always over there. But I saw that Netflix flick with him. That was funny. Even Will Ferrell's bad movies, I like. I was thinking about that. Like, I like laughing at that dude, man. Even though he's, probably played out or whatever, like he's done a million movies, a lot of this media stuff, like, it brings people up and then it's oversaturated. But sometimes some cats, you could just keep on watching. And yeah, even Will Ferrell's like Land of the Lost. I was watching that the other day. I mean, it's not great, but just seeing him perform and do comedy, I trip out. So shout out to him. I've never met him, but I think I would love to do a scene. I'm getting better at acting. I'm doing all these auditions. I'm getting roles. I'm getting more confident with that art form. I think anybody listening to this, you understand what I'm saying. Like, I literally can do Final Cut. I am making music with GarageBand and actually leveling up on the mixing and the sound production and all that. and then podcasting, I'm editing. So you just learn these disciplines, and or you learn these crafts, or all of, I mean, you want to be a master, but right now with media and doing stuff, man, you just got to jump in there and figure it out, man. That's the gig. Somebody was hitting me up about getting microphones. Yo, I got the focus right. That changed the game, and then figure out your mic from there. But the focus right is the jam. That's like a little mini mixing board type joint. But this stuff is moving and moving fast. So shout out to the dude that gave me a question about microphones for starting his own podcast. I don't want to stop anybody from doing their podcast. So yeah, go get a focus right, yo. I got a great cup of coffee. This is from the French press, Konditori, Swedish espresso bar. I got a Kiva mint, Kiva Petra, cinnamon mint, and then I also have Seltzer. I think I'm going to call this episode Coffee Mint Seltzer. I got a Hal's New York seltzer water with, natural flavored lime. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I start every morning with 1 glass of water with a squeeze of lime. So that's what, something about lime. You know that song, Lime in the Coconut. I'm gonna put a lime in the coconut. Put the lime in the coconut. That's all about a hangover cure. That song. I don't know if you know that song. If you want to check it out, it's on the Reservoir Dogs soundtrack. But that's all about it's a hangover cure. I think in Mexico, or I don't even know if it's in Mexico or somewhere in Central America, where it's just lime and coconut water, coconut milk. And both of those have settling to your stomach. And I do think gut health. I just opened the seltzer and it did explode. I tried to do the slow open. When you open seltzer, you do the slow open. But the seltzer just has that bomb ass bubbles. But a little bit of lime, a fresh lime in your water, man, that will go a long way to settling your stomach and easing your mind. I'm telling you, it was a game changer when I started to do the squeeze of lime into the glass of water every morning. That just settled my stomach and kind of got the right citrus blend going. Trying to open this fucking bottle. It's a little rough because I'm holding the microphone. I need to get a little mic stand because I'm using like a stand-up microphone, because how I see it is when we went COVID lockdown, I just used this as kind of like how I would do on stage. So I appreciate you listening. Oh, so I got to check out this bad boy. Look at that green lime house, just seltzer, cannabis cinnamon mint, and a nice cup of Swedish coffee, rocking out the podcast. I love it. I went pinky up on that swig of seltzer. Dude, I think I'm feeling the mint because I'm in a really joyful mood. I can't tell if it's a mint or if it's just me or if it's just life, because yeah, I don't know, man. There is like, maybe we'll get out of this, but the India thing really, and then somebody was saying like it was spiking in Nepal. In Nepal, I keep on going back to Tibet because pacifism, meditation. I do think the peaceful way. Yeah, I know everybody's so aggressive, man. I'm seeing all this crazy guns and shit. Everybody's buying guns and shit. I don't like guns. All right. I'm as aggro male. I wrestled. I played lacrosse. I fought. I could do it at all. I could, you're not going to out tough guy me. Well, there's a lot of tough guys out there, but I'm just not into guns. They're machines that kill people. And everybody's just like down with them now. Everybody thinks somebody's going to jump them. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I do think that energy, when you bring that type of energy into your world, um, yeah, that energy will come. But at the same time, you don't want to be caught slipping. So I don't know. I just worry that we're not talking enough about just being nice, being kind, and being kind, and just getting to that point where you're like, yo, existence is dope. And it is. Uh lately, man, I've been just like going and meditating for like 20 minutes by myself. Not I'm not bragging about it, but it's like just the phone and the social media and then the watching the TV and me being backed up. I can't really figure out stand up. Like, should I go out there? Should I not go out there? Um, but I'm always positive. I think things work out, but you have to work with it. That's what I'm learning. You can't ignore it, you can't just ignore shit. You really have to look at it. So it's been a year and a half, COVID. I was in the middle of New York. I haven't left much. I drove to Michigan to see my mom after a year and a half after I was vaccinated. Um, and that was a nice trip. Came back to New York, got a negative test. So I was like, yo, that's all right. And just started working on this music album and then writing new stand-up material. I'm excited about this gig in the park, and I'm starting to shake some trees about doing some dates for you and me. Um, but I was this coffee's so fucking good. Uh, I wanted to talk about this Swedish, the name, like you go to these things that was like one Swede and one dude from Brooklyn. And they opened up this shop. Now they got like 10 shops because the shit is good and they keep it simple and it's not douchey. I know some people are like, oh, coffee shop, hipster. This one is straight up just fucking good, if you know what's up. Let's see. Oh, Konditori in Swedish means traditional Swedish gathering place to enjoy warm drinks, fine baked goods, and confections, where one goes to feka, take a coffee or a tea break. Yeah, just a coffee house, a little break, a little place to have a muffin and have a coffee and space out and check out your phone or read the paper or write a poem or sketch, make a drawing of a bird. Um, mm. So, shot. I haven't been to. I always say I'm part Swiss. My mom is German and Swiss, and then my dad is straight up Virginia from the backwoods, as hillbilly as you get. Um, Not, I wouldn't say. Well, you can't say hillbilly because he was educated, got a master's and all that. But where he was from, it's called Pound, Virginia. I hope to go back. I'm going to do this festival in Roanoke, Virginia in October. So that's just for the super fans out there and the Virginia heads. And I don't know if there's any Virginia heads. I don't know. Weed needs to get legalized in pot, man. I've been thinking about like, when there's not good weed, it's just more methy, it's more fucking cokey, it's more boozy. When there's weed, it's like more artsy, more outdoors. Uh, yeah, when you smoke pot, you want to go into nature. At least that's what I want to do. Mushrooms and pot are ways for people that live in city environment, modern fucking concrete, plastic bullshit. uh it's a way to get back out there because we are that. We are the same thing as plant matter, you know. We are living things. They're living things. And we get to eat them. Well as food, well as animals. I had some chicken. I made a chicken kebab. I had a grill out with a couple friends, but it was like five. And everybody was vaccinated. no kids, no nothing, but it was like I had a couple kebabs and I did have a hamburger, mini slider, but I didn't sleep well last night. I don't know, man. I might be done with red meat. I don't know. Ooh, coughing. Uh, but no COVID. That was straight excited about the podcast cough. And I spilt the seltzer somewhere. Um, mm. But yeah, I've never been to Sweden, never been to Switzerland. Have I been? I haven't been to Germany. I have been to London, but it was like a bounce over, so it was airport London, uh, and Amsterdam. I have been to Amsterdam. I played the Cannabis Cup in 2007. Shout out to Greenhouse and Lemon Haze. That was the number one. Shout out to David Peele, who I shared the stage with on a couple different shows. David Peele was an pot singing folk singer that was signed to Apple Records and was John Lennon friend. And he used to sing in Tompkins Square Park in the Lower East Side throughout the 60s and 70s. He would just smoke. It was all the hippies would hang out there and smoke pot, and he was just like the weirdo that had these songs. And then he got a record deal, and the shit blew up. Um, and then he was managed by Tom Forsad, and Tom Forsad was the founder of High Times magazine. So I got to know this guy. He was out there, man. But the word on the street is like John Lennon loved like before the whole CBGB like scene, before punk rock, like this dude was the most punk rock thing in the 60s and early like this was right before he was before the Ramones, but had that anti-establishment, go fuck yourself, I'm just smoking weed right here, right in your face type of shit. And that's what he was on. And rest in peace to David Peele. Um, Shout out to all my friends from the old High Times New York office. I love those days. I think back on them fondly. Because I was doing stand up and then I came friends there and I got busted for weed. And those guys were in this office and they were behind all these lawyers. And it was like the only place I felt safe, like buying weed. After a while, I know you come to town or you have a dude or but I've always been kind of a run and gun type cat, meaning, I'll smoke it down and then it runs out and I forget to line it up and then I go without a few days. Yeah, my wife was telling me because I ran out of coffee this morning. I had to go out and get a bag of coffee. She's like, like you don't think about I don't think about the future that much. Like I think maybe I'm a little too present at times because I do love it. And it's uh, I get excited about it. Not excited, but just all the potential, but potential for fun. There's a lot of potential for fun and and what I'm learning now, fun doesn't mean pleasure all the time. I mean, getting high and sleeping and jerking off and having sex or whatever, eating big muffins or all that. There is a pleasure there, but being your genuine self and doing what you want and finding your thing in life and putting work in and then resting and all of it, man, it's all connected. I don't know what was going with that. I think it was more like finding joy in doing this podcast and recording stuff and pushing my stand up harder and pushing my acting more. And, I definitely got a book in me. I got to get out. I got to stop talking about it and doing it is the gig. Oh. But I have been doing it. I have been making some music and getting some great thumbs up. I'm getting into mixing and mastering stages of this project. And I will roll it out soon, but I don't want to talk about it too much. Uh, but I do, man, I love this fucking coffee. This is good fucking shit. What else is going on in the world? Well, um, yeah, you get sucked into news and politics and, you know, the whole Israel and Palestine thing. That's fucking trippy. That could be like World War III pops, but I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to think about it right now. For this podcast, I just want to vibe out and talk about cartoons and the Beatles and weed and elves and Bruce Lee and funky beats. Funky, funky, funky beats. I was thinking about hip hop and jazz. The thing about jazz, I've been listening to these wild jazz albums, man. Some shit that check out, and there's a hip hop group called Nucleus. Jam on it. That's a classic outer space. If you want to hear some early 80s off the jump, and they were a Brooklyn crew. Nucleus was a great, that's what you learned to jam on. It was what you learned to down, 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 down. That's what you learned to pop and lock on. But this jazz that I'm fucking getting into, it's called Nucleus, and this album cover is called Alley Cat, man. This shit is crazy. It's a jaguar running through an alley. Oh, I hope it didn't, dude. I hope that wasn't enough seconds on there to get thrown off. But man, they are funky. Nucleus, Alley Cat, just vibes and instrumentation. The thing about jazz is jazz goes everywhere. Jazz, like, it's boring. I know, but people. I remember when stand-up comedy fell off. Things come back. People go up, go down. Rock and roll, grunge, jazz, hip hop. It's all the same. It's all energies that we get to play with. But with jazz being said, what I dig about it is a lot of times there's no words, and it's just specifically music and tone and finding and feel and how you feel. That was, oh man, I read this thing about in my meditation book, this Tibetan meditation book that I got is dope. It was put the sun in your heart and the moon in your head. The sun in your heart and the moon, like that represents like the sun. It's like your heart. Like you want to feel with your heart. That's 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 the real thing. But I think through modern society, we've gone through feeling with our head and what they call manifestations, all these dreams and blah, 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 blah. And this dude's after me and I'm after them and they don't even know the real me. I'm going to bust all that shit. All that ego is in the head, it's just like, but in the heart, I think that's the light, we are traveling light, we are stardust. We are just, it's done, man. It's done. All of us are done. Like we all know we're going to die. Our parents died. The people before us die. So all we got is our actions and our words and our vibes. And we got to vibe it up, man. We got to vibe it up. Higher Ground. Higher Ground by Stevie Wonder is fucking my jam. Because it's just like, keep on living. People are growing. People are evolving. The universe has a way of settling if you just let it be. And I feel like America's positioning itself to letting itself be. I think not even America, people. It needs to start with people's hearts and then move out. It can't go from government down. Fuck that. It's got to go like, everybody's got to open their heart and feel more. Because there's like a basic kindness. Every person, even the most evil fucking dude, man, there is a basic kindness that is like a part of nature's system. And if you can all tune into it, we could see this as a dream, and we could see this as a trip, a beautiful trip, a beautiful trip, a beautiful ride. As Bill Hicks said, I am so inspired by Bill Hicks. I love Bill Hicks just because he was from the South. He was kicking some real fucking shit. But I'm not into conspiracy theories, and I'm not cynical, and I'm not a nihilist. And I think once you get over 40, there's like, I don't know, man. You just like, dude, save the drama for your mama, man. Because you're lucky you made it to this gig. So you just got to wake up and you don't have to have kids or family, but, just let it open up. Let life unfold. That's what my meditation book was. I was meditating. I just got to let it unfold and be the observer. So don't try to control. Nobody can control this. Nobody's going to make the universe better. Nobody's going to make the earth better. But we can be more aware of actually what we're doing. Some people, like my mom would always say, just don't do mindless shit. Like, just don't act mindless. Just don't fucking do mindless shit. Sometimes it's good to go in art. It's good to go dumb and pop off in a good way. But in life, I don't know, man. I think mental health and people going on autopilot and living in their head way too long, that's who I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of fucking criminals. I'm afraid of weirdos on the internet, and I'm afraid of mentally because I think computers and social media and all the weird pressures of our modern society has tilted mental health on a downslide. Like, people are now becoming more aware of it. Like, I hear more people like, man, I got to read some books. Maybe that's my age, I don't know. But the brain is a muscle. The brain needs to get worked out. That's what meditation is just learning how to capture the monkey mind. Whoa. Did that pick up on my thing? Wow, somebody just called, and I got all my somebody's calling me. I don't know what's going on. They're messing up my podcast, man. I'm trying to rock this out. I'm having a great Petra mint. I'm having some coffee. Oh, you guys on this stuff? This is my new deodorant. They say like the regular deodorant causes you cancer, but I believe that. If shit has too much chemicals, it's like food in the 90s. Like, fast food didn't kill people in the 80s. It wasn't until the 90s and the 2000s that shit started really, because I just think it's just too fake. You got to get to the source. But Ursa Major, this deodorant, Ursa Major, this is like, long lasting, fresh, woody aroma. Yeah, I love a good pine. So I'm smelling good. I was thinking I might be a cologne guy. I thought about that the other day. I was like, maybe I'll start wearing cologne. I've never been cologne. Maybe I had one bottle of cologne, maybe some high karate back in the day. But there's something to be said about, because being a dude, all I do is fart, and I'm eating sandwiches and taking shits and smoking bongs and running around and sweating and funking. And sometimes you ever smelled some cologne, you're like, oh man, this guy's got his life together. So I might if you start smelling me on the street, and it douses. I know some old school weed heads, like, Ralphie May was my friend, and we smoked a lot of pot together. But he had his own comedy career and did his own thing. We were just on a very popular television show together. But he wore cologne, and he did it because, he was a big dude in sweat and funk, but also smoked hella weed and he covered up the weed. Um, Not that weed has a bad smell, but sometimes it's a little. I just don't like broadcasting what I'm doing to people. I like, I like them. That's why I kind of like the mask. Like they got the no mask in the city, which is cool. But I wear the mask when I go into stores or some other shit. I got shouted out at the fucking hardware store. I was at the hardware store buying a birdhouse, and somebody called and I took my mask down just to talk because I didn't want the muffle. And I got, yo, put your mask on. And this was just yesterday. I was like, all right, sorry, I forgot. So on the street, like I kind of, it's New York, so I know everybody's kind of opening up right now, but New York is still. I mean, they were piling bodies next to the morgue, man. It was fucking scary. It was definitely Times Square was shut down. It was Vanilla Sky up in effect. So it's going to take a minute for me to get adjusted to this. But what I was saying is, I kind of like the mask to cover up my nose and my mouth about boogers and bad breath. And sometimes you don't want to, you see somebody on the street you don't really want to talk to. You could be like, oh, I'm sorry, I got my mask on. Because it's just eyes. So I kind of get, maybe there will always be masks after this. Like I would definitely, like during the flu season and during the cold season when I'm traveling, like you like when you do a bunch of comedy dates in a row and you smoke a lot of weed and travel, like that's why I always drank Airborne, always drank Emergency all the time, man. Vitamin C and vitamins, that shit will knock the funk out, like all that funkiness that's out there. And those planes, man, you'll catch the funk. So I could see myself being on a plane and having like a nice cushy mask, not around, but if I feel it, if I feel it's really spitty and snotty and phlegmy all up in that joint, man, I'll throw it on. I'll have my mask and that will be the thing. Um, but yeah, I'm having a great cup of coffee, having some seltzer, bubbling up with the Howls. Howls has come on strong. New York seltzer. Um, because you just want I want the bubbles, and I like having the water because I can feel it in my body going, "Thank you for the water." The blood cells or whatever. Um, but some people don't prescribe to the water thing. Everybody's on their own gig, man. I'm just telling you what works for me. As I grow older, meditating and stretching are becoming like a base level just to stay even keel. And so is weed and coffee in there. Like if I have weed, coffee, meditation, and stretching, then I got my art, my career, and my family. Like I gotta just work and balance all that out. But if I have all those cocked and ready that I can do, I can handle pretty much anything mentally and physically. Uh, if I have to lift shit or move shit or run around or duck, dodge, and weave, it won't bust me up. If I put the sun in my heart and the moon in my head, I don't know. That just stuck with me and it made sense. Because I think we're connected, the earth, man, woman, it's all connected, man. The universe, the stars, starlight, traveling light, life. Uh, because this is nothing, that's what I'm like. I'm trying to meditate on nothing. Like you can't even, the concept of nothing, really, like beyond even looking at it. You can't even look at nothing because it's nothing. What about that? Because we're something, but guess what? There has to be nothing for there to be something so that nothing, I don't know why I'm whispering, but kind of gives it a dramatic effect. But that nothing, like there's a thing in meditation about being indestructible. Once you let go and understand that we're nothing, and that this is just a blessing and a ride, and if you put your dreams at the top of your head and go towards the light, shit works. I mean, it's not automatic. Nothing that is worthwhile comes simple, like, or with one step. You have to work with shit. I have to work with this podcast. I know I'm getting the Patreon, the sign up for the Patreon. It's not huge. I know motherfuckers be checking numbers and shit like that, but it's enough money to buy me a bag of weed. So that's been good. And then the audio version is doing great, but I do need you to like and subscribe, and we're going to get more content rolling up on the Patreon. And I got guests. I got a fresh guest coming up, a Palestinian dude that used to be a Christian rapper. This dude is hilarious, but he does stand up. I'm just teasing it, but he's coming up next week. And then I got some invites to some other cats. But if you want to get at me, contact at Rob Cantrell. It's the best way to get at me, dog. And that's a great DMX song. I've been listening to a lot of, I don't know why. It's just that energy, man. That dude had coffee energy. His music. I mean, Get At Me Dog is a great DMX song. And Money Cash Hose with Jay-Z, produced by Just Blaze, or it could be Swiss Beats. Swiss Beats or Just Blaze. Great producers. I've been getting into all this music stuff. Swiss Beats, Just Blaze, Mike Dean. These guys made all the like dope hip hop music out there, but behind the scenes and on the boards. But I think that stuff, like the engineering is the stuff. Art takes multiple people, good art. And that's what I'll eventually get a team behind this to help me edit it. Like I edit the video, I edit the sound, I edit the you could check out the YouTube videos are for free, but I have a little light show, like a stock footage collage of funkiness. And I had fun putting that shit together. And the YouTube's doing decent. So check out the Cannabis Coffee Hour on YouTube. But in order to get the full video effect, to see me crushing bottles of seltzer and drinking coffee and talking mad shit about expensive deodorant, you'll have to join the Patreon. And soon I'll get a studio. I got the whole thing, man. We're gonna have a vibe, and also travel around. I got an SLR camera that I'm figuring out. So yeah, I'm just happy about the Cannabis Coffee Hour, and I'm happy to be doing this with you. I love you. Yeah. What? Oh yeah. Whoa. I was just trying to vibe out on that. Yeah, check out producer Mike Dean. That guy's funky. He made all the original Ghetto Boys beats, but then he did all the Kanye West engineering and producing. I want to get him on the podcast. Anybody know? I'm looking to get Mike Dean and Brian Baker. Those are like and he was like a guitarist for Minor Threat. So I want to lean more into music a little bit. I got a ton of comedy friends. And I love talking to them, but I find it interesting talking to music cats and other art forms that I dig. Graffiti art, artists in general. We got a new logo. I'm working with a dope artist with this new logo and a new rollout, and I'm going to have a bomb ass merch coming up. So sign up to the Patreon. I think the merch for the Cannabis Coffee Hour is only going to be going through the Patreon. So I'm telling you, man, it's going to be these hats are going to be sick. These t-shirts are going to be sick. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't. I don't want. I mean, I'm confident about my shit. I don't want to brag about it. A lot of it is like you got to do it and then be like. But that's where my vibe is going. This is going to be a short one. I don't know. I think maybe I've gone 45 minutes. Maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't time it. But I love this coffee. Shout out. This is great Swedish coffee. Konditori, which is, a coffee shop, place where you get some coffee and muffins in Sweden. So you learned a new word there. In Amsterdam, they have this word called, and I've said this before, the Dutch have this word called gezellig, which I love. Gezellig means safe, warm, cozy, kind of crunchy, it's just that, in the womb feeling. You know what I'm talking about? You know what it was like in the womb. Everything was paid for. You didn't have to, you were just floating. Man, outer space, womb, human, earth, dirt, back up, back around, nothing, something. I love you, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. More caffeine and cannabis to come. Love your mama. Peace.